The next thing is a public policy. Government can use this data science as a tool to analyze how the policies actually are running, because government is the policy maker. Before it makes a new policy, it needs to understand how the policy is going to run. Now, if actually it can use this data science, it can do miracles and wonders, because most of the policies are all about resource utilization, resource effective utilization of the resources, because the government have a specific set of the resources which has to be utilized by all the public, and several policies will make sure that the set of resources will be utilized by a segment of the people, such as Raitu Bandhu or Ammavadi or anything. Several policies target specific segment of the people. If the government needs to really understand how the policy is running, how a policy can be optimized by targeting a very specific segment of the people, because every time a policy is made, there will be several other there may be misuse of the policies. For instance, the people who actually are falling under the below poverty lane, the thing is the salary is falling anywhere in between 5,000 to 10,000 rupees. For those set of people, there will be specific policies made, and the policy is only for the segment of the people whose salary is in between 5,000 to 10,000. It should not go beyond the scope. So for that, the government can use this data science as a tool, because the data science is going to provide the government with a huge data. By analyzing the data, the government will be able to target a segment of the people by a policy. It also will be able to see how a policy is actually running, how a policy is actually yielding the results, how a specific segment of the people is being beneficial by a specific policy. So the government can also go for the simulation rather than directly implementing a policy. The government, by using the past data, they can simulate a specific policy before it gets implemented. And when it comes to resource allocation, yeah, government has a specific set of the resources. All the resources must be properly utilized, rather properly distributed among the public. As I already told you, different segment of the people will be affected, will be impacted by the different policies. Different policies are made for the different people. So it's all about resource allocation. A specific resource has to be allocated to a specific segment of the people, and such as healthcare, education, infrastructure. Healthcare is very vital, because the government hospitals, how the beds are being organized, how the beds are being allocated, or how the medicines are being allocated, what is the current availability of the medicine, and everything. These are all the resources. There's only a few resources that we actually can spot, but there are several other resources, such as education. Education is another resource. Now, for every now and then, syllabus will get changed, curriculum will get changed, right? Now, the government, how good a specific curriculum setting is running good for the beneficial of the students, the government will be able to see, government will be able to identify. And next thing is survey. Yeah, surveys and the public opinions. Now, rather than using the existing data, government also can create the data by using surveys and the public opinions. This will be a wonderful tool. It just also can create its own big data. It can create a survey before it releases a new policy, before it implements new policies, before it actually incepts a new policy. Government can collect the data, social media, and of course, where the data is available directly from the social media, there is a huge data available, right? And polls, it can also conduct a polls, and the other sources help the policymakers to understand the public sentiment, improve the responsiveness. What exactly is the public sentiment? What actually is the mood of the public? By analyzing this, the government will be able to deploy a specific policy to the best. Okay, and the smart cities, of course, is already implemented, is already being run very effectively by this Modi's government right now. And smart cities, first of all, it is going to develop a city's whereabouts. It is not whereabouts exactly. It's develop the city's feel and how it looks. There are several smart cities are actually announced. How actually smart cities are being implemented? You just need to understand for implementing the smart cities, Modi government actually using this data science, because data from the various urban sectors such as traffic utilization, pollution levels, the government will be able to identify the cities to be zoned as the smart cities. Now, by using which the planning can be done accordingly. What exactly is smart city? Smart city doesn't not necessarily to be a clean city. There is something called a Bangalore. Bangalore is a pretty much clean city, but the biggest problem with the Bangalore is the traffic. And wherever you go, right from one end to another end, if you want to move from one end to another end, there will be at least 2 hours it takes. But the total, what do you call, the radius of the Bangalore doesn't even cross around 40 to 50 kilometers. Just cross about 40 to 50 kilometers, if it takes 120 minutes, how, you can understand how congested the traffic is. Now, by analyzing the data from the various traffic zones, if they can, make some new policies, making a way as a one way, making a way as a two ways. This is what exactly is the smart city all about. Smart city not necessarily be to be a clean city. So government can also make. Yeah, government can take this data science as a tool for making this public policies, for creating the public policies, or to make a policy optimally utilized. Next thing is the politics, of course. These days, politics are, data science is making a huge impact on the politics, because by the time of the elections, data science will create a huge impact. Data science is going to play a vital role, because it's just all about the polls, how you collect the data, polls. Okay, how you collect the data from the social media, how you can understand the mood of the nation by the social media. Now, by using the data science, the parties will be able to target a specific segment of voters, and they also can change the strategies of the campaigning, and they'll also be able to predict the sentiment of the voters, how exactly the previous policies of the previous government is running, and what modification they need to make in their campaigning. And see, trust me, data science now already is playing a vital role in the politics and campaignings, and creating a new strategies to compete with the other parties. Already it is making, but in the next coming 2 to 3 years, data science is going to take over everywhere in terms of the campaigning. And sentiment analysis, I already told you, predicting election outcomes. Yeah, this is actually, data science is being utilized as a tool by what do you call, several opinion poll companies or firms, by predicting, using as a tool to predict the outcomes of the elections, optimizing the campaigning budgets. Of course, budget also is since it is very limited for the parties, they'll be able to utilize this data science tool, optimizing the budget. If a penny is being invested for a specific category of the campaigning, it has to be optimized, because the campaigning should reach to its goal, for which they will be able to collect the data in such a way that it will optimize the as a targeted campaign. And the next thing is the healthcare. And of course, healthcare will have a huge impact by the data science, because by using the healthcare, will be able to optimize the usage of the medicine. And by using the data science, we'll also be able to predict the disease as early as possible. Now, earlier, the biggest problem in the healthcare system is, unless the disease goes to a specific level, it wouldn't be able to be spotted. But by using the data science, there is a huge data available. They can analyze the data. The disease can be, predicted as early as possible. The data science is transforming healthcare by enabling the early disease detection, as I told you, optimizing the treatment plans. So the disease is identified, treatment plans can be, optimized, right? And improving the hospital operations. And the predictive analytics, first of all, when you go to predictive analytics, data is used to predict the patient outcomes and the treatment effectiveness. How far the current model of the treatment is working on a specific patient. And if it is yielding the result, they can go ahead. Then if it is not yielding the result, they can stop this treatment, and they can approach another branch, right? The personalized medicine. And of course, although disease is the same, the conditions of the patients may be different. So by using the data science, we'll be able to target a specific the patient's medication. And medical imaging, yes, medical imaging by analyzing the see, there is something called, I'll tell you, um, cancer, right? But there are several kinds of cancers. Now, in 1900, in the beginning of the 1900, cancer was a new term. Everything which looks like a wound inside the body will just get categorized as a cancer. But now there are several, in 2024, there are several cancers. Although it looks the same, it just can be classified into one or the other categories. Now, since the huge data available, rather than categorizing into as a specific kind of a cancer, you'll be able to spot it as a lymphoblastic leukemia, myeloblastic leukemia, or any other kind of a cancer. Is it acute or is it at the early level? You'll be able to understand. Now, this is the very reason why, if they can optimize the use of data science, healthcare services can also be optimized. And epidemiology, it is another one. Right after 2020, people started thinking, what can be the forecasted epidemics? And the healthcare sectors started analyzing what could be the possible epidemics that we're going to encounter in the near future. So obviously, trust me, the data science will give them a huge data. It's already data available. If they can analyze the data, they'll be able to predict what actually are the possible outcome, possible epidemics or the pandemics that they are going to encounter in the near future, so that they can strategically use the medicine or go for the invention of the medicine, and they'll be able to reduce the impact of the epidemic. And then hospital management, of course, as we already discussed in one of the previous slides, the hospital management would be effective because in the hospital, again, this is the resources. Resources must be allocated properly. And by using the data science, what are the resources? Medicines and the beds, right? And by using this data science, the hospital management will be also optimized, can also be optimized.